Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast. Obviously, the Royal Rumble happened, and there is a lot that needs to be discussed on the road to WrestleMania. What does it all mean?
What does it mean?
Where are we going to wind up? Lots of questions that need to be answered.
Why is
You
there
know
a
what?
bull on Walt's wall?
We're going to try to do that today.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, dudes?
Nothing. It's Monday.
It is Monday.
It's Monday.
And it's the Monday after the Royal Rumble, which means it is the first official Monday on the road to WrestleMania. Gentlemen, obviously the Royal Rumble was a thing this weekend, and you know we always like to kind of live stream the Royal Rumble and do a live watch along, but plans just were made and then fell apart and then made and then fell apart, and then Derek got COVID, and then more plans were made and fell apart. And Tom and I ended up at this nice little establishment on the south side and had some delicious wings and beer and enjoyed the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
You guys went over to the exotic area of Pittsburgh and just left me at home to suffer with my giant eagle wings from the air fryer.
What's exotic about the South Side? The South Side is about as basic white girl as it gets. It really is, as far as Pittsburgh is concerned.
Yeah, but if I'm taking somebody to Pittsburgh, I'm taking the South Side. That's where I'm going.
Because you're a basic white girl? I don't get it. Why?
Why? Have fun. This is where I go have fun. That's what I do.
I mean, it was fun. We did have a good time.
Yeah.
So obviously, overall impression of the Rumble, gentlemen. I mean, it was a solid show. I know that so I went back, I rewatched it today because Saturday night, Tom and I were sitting there and we were bullshitting, eating wings, and I was like, man, you're aware I'm gonna shit all over this on Monday.
Yeah.
But I did. I sat here today and I rewatched the entire thing from front to start, or from start to finish, and I'm here to tell you I'm still gonna shit on this fucking show. Okay. Overall, overall, it was a solid show.
Hey,
but I think
before we talk about how solid the show was, let's talk about how solid Archie's is in the South Side. How many One Fall WrestleCast stars does Archie's on the South Side get?
I mean, it definitely gets like a Dave Meltzer 5 stars. You know,
I'd give it 7
Young
stars.
Bucks versus Joey Janela in a handicap match.
I think it was 7 stars in the Thunderdome, if I'm being honest, just because of how much wing sauce we were given with our wings.
Listen, you know, I always like to get fries with my wings, and I always like to sop up the extra sauce in the bottom of the basket with my fries, right? So we got our wings at Archie's, and I always move the middle out in my basket, right? So I could dip my fries. And I'm like, Tom, look at all the sauce in the bottom of this basket. And Tom does the same thing, and he's like, that's a lot of sauce.
Yeah. It was a lot of sauce.
A lot of sauce.
But the last 2 wings swim in it. They float there, they're back floating in the.
Yeah, it's like Owen Hart, in the Nation of Domination. He's the little nugget that you just can't flush down the toilet.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
I am not a nugget.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. And the change is, let's go back to this Royal Rumble. Okay. I think for Triple H's first Royal Rumble, I feel like I just expected more. I think that's where my problem lies.
I mean, I think that there weren't as many surprises as
I heard all week. All I heard all week was how content everybody was behind the curtain with the amount of surprises that they had in store for us. That's all I heard all week.
There was one. There was technically 2 because the other surprise was that Rey Mysterio's music played and then Rey Mysterio didn't show up.
Well, it's because he ended up not getting cleared on Saturday morning because of his match that he had with Karrion Kross on Friday night, which is a whole nother fucking problem. Because
don't get into this. Now we're gonna say Karrion Kross is unsafe. Is that what
no? I'm not. It just continues to prove my point that I continue to come in here and make week after week, and that is Karrion Kross cannot get over in the WWE's current climate.
Because you won't let him. It's because you specifically.
Walt personally stops Karrion Kross from getting over.
Yeah, I stopped. You know, he said this week. He said this week that he believes that his character is not a human.
I mean,
what do you want? What do you want to say to this?
I mean, his character is clearly some kind of uninteresting. I mean, he's not personable like a human, so maybe that's part of the problem, I guess.
I mean, I just don't. I just don't know what they want me to do with Karrion Kross at this current time. I really don't. Like, I'm just to the point where, like, Karrion Kross can go bye-bye, and I would be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
When he first got fired, it was like, oh, man, this guy had such potential with what he was doing in NXT, and then they bring him up to the main roster, and they give him a stupid gimmick. Well, I feel like whatever his gimmick is now is it's also stupid. And I said this to you yesterday with hair or Saturday. With hair, he's not Karrion Kross. He's just Kevin. He just looks like Kevin.
Kevin can fucking take his ass backstage and get back on the spaceship that he fucking thinks that he came in on. All right. And he can figure out his life because it's just not working for me, brother.
No, it's not. I mean,
yeah, I'm good on Kevin. I'm very good on Kevin. I was actually very excited about Kevin for a long period of time. I don't know that there was enough time between
fail to materialize.
Kevin and now back to Karrion Kross, Kevin with hair, and that also adds a whole nother layer. That basically, if you went through 3 character changes, one being completely terrible, that you want me to accept and move on from, and I can't do that quickly.
And listen, I defended him whenever he first came back because Derek did try to fucking shit all over him with that whole thing, you know, the bondage mask and like.
What did you want from? You want me to?
I tell you what, though, bud, like it's just not working. It's just it's not working for me. So I mean, we digress, right, as we tend to do. But let's circle back to the Royal Rumble as a whole. Okay, so like we didn't get the surprises that like I think that a lot of us expected, right? Like I wasn't expecting legends. Okay, I wasn't expecting legend surprises. I was expecting like change-making surprises, like a fucking Nick Aldis, right? Like,
yeah, I know. We were talking about it beforehand, and you were like, "I'll be shocked if he's not here today." Lo and behold,
like
no Nick Aldis.
You know, and then too, you know, Cardona was out there this week, you know, teasing it up, laying it out there, which is also would have been a very believable and enjoyable surprise to happen. We didn't get that. What we did get was Booker T and the Spinneroonie, which was the perfect use of that character in that moment to give Booker T that pop with the crowd. He comes in, he does his shtick, he does his gimmick, and he gets the fuck out of the way.
Does he still need it at this point? What are we doing?
But he's not had that. He's not had that.
I don't give a. How long do you need to keep doing this? Stop it. Stop it. It was not a special presentation show. Like, dude, you're a good announcer.
But you expect that at the Royal Rumble, but if you don't expect that at the Royal Rumble, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I expected it to look better than what it did. If we're gonna have it,
it was all right.
No disagreement here either. I mean,
that's all.
Those up kicks didn't look great, right? Even Tom was like, "Ooh, those are not as snappy as we're used to seeing."
Those thighs ain't looking too
snappy.
That's what I said.
Is like, he didn't really get the extension on that one, did he? It was the second. The first one, like his leg went out straight, but it was just low. I'm like, because usually you remember Booker would be like, but it was just kind of low. I'm like, okay, that was. And then the second one, like his knee was still all bent. I'm like, ooh, Book's not getting the extension he used to get.
And I'm definitely not saying that's something I can pull off, but that's also not
me neither.
That I'm trying to do it, you know.
And he's, you know, he's probably 10 years older than we are, so at least.
Yeah, he's 46. We looked it up, remember?
That's right. We did look at it. Wait, Booker T is 46? Did we look
I
that
believe-
up?
So he's 10 years older than me.
57. 57.
Okay, so then who the fuck was 46 that we looked up?
Oh, Jesus.
Was it?
That's gonna bother me.
It was Karrion Kross. Or no, it was
Boring.
the Archer of Infamy. It was Damian Priest.
Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
Yeah, baby.
Look on your phones.
So
That phone.
we definitely had a thing where, like, you know, the Rumble was not what I expected it to be, right? Like,
So
I
I'm going to tell you, from the men's Rumble perspective, my biggest disappointment was that there were only 29 people in it. I feel like that's the biggest. That's absolutely the biggest waste, right? So that was bad. Number one. Number two, Kofi's botch getting out. That's 2 years in a row now, Kof. And I know he hit his head. I hope he's all right. But
yeah, dude, he fucking shit stomped that announce table with his head.
yeah, he was like thwack. So that was two. Third, I mean, I guess Cody winning is kind of a little too predictable at this point. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I come in here and I was talking about that last week on the show about them ramming him down our throats, and it's like there was no chance in hell that he wasn't not going to win the Royal Rumble, right? But like, just the way that they positioned it and they situated him and they got him into place. Like, come on, man, really?
They close your eyes.
And then he walked out last, which
Yes.
is which is the other different. Like, had he come in at number 3 and won it, okay, great. You know, that. I mean, that's what we expected.
I mean, that's the
But he
spot,
literally
right?
they just handed it to him. He walked in last, tossed the last two guys out after being super fresh. You know, that was it. What was he in there? 7 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that.
No, he was in there for a minute, man. Like,
I mean,
I'll give him at least 12.
Okay, but I don't think it's not much more than that. Who was in there? Gunther was in there for what? 90 minutes or something?
Yeah, something like that. It was like 88 or 87 minutes, something like that.
It was almost 90 minutes. Yeah, and it's like the long. They gave him they had him beat Ray's record. They had him smash Ray's record. Ray's record was like 65, 70 minutes maybe. But I don't know. But Gunther smashed it. And I thought that was, truthfully, had Gunther won, I might have been a little more shocked. I'd be like, oh my God.
No, and I mean, I think it would have absolutely made sense too, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing that's making the rounds on the old interwebs this week is the fact that, like, he came in first and he was the last man eliminated, and everybody's like, oh, that gives you all the evidence that you need that Triple H is still booking the show, because if it was Vince McMahon, shut up.
Yeah.
That man earned that spot, and
For
quite
sure.
frankly, he's made the Intercontinental Championship mean something, and I mean, he's absolutely going to get his opportunity, and I'd have been okay if he would have won the Rumble. I mean, it definitely would have been a little bit more shocking, like you said.
Yeah.
But from the standpoint of, like, as a wrestling fan, what I want to see, that's something that I want to see.
For sure. I mean, that's maybe probably next year. I mean, I'm thinking that it's going to be like Gunther's time is probably going to start, not this road to WrestleMania, because he's already kind of locked into being the long-standing Intercontinental Champion. Like that, I think that certainly has to make it to WrestleMania. So he's kind of locked in at the moment. But I certainly wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about Gunther as, you know, a world heavyweight champion, even if it doesn't make it, not even like lasting all the way till next year. Like if he picks up, has a title run, you know, maybe picks one up at SummerSlam or something. I think that would be pretty cool. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with Gunther not winning, but his long stay in the ring was good. Truthfully, I feel like they should have had Seth win. I feel like they should have built up the Cody stuff so much, and you know, just like took a big swerve and had Seth toss Cody and Gunther at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that would have been good, and then have Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which would absolutely make sense because I mean that I think we're still all clamoring for that Seth Rollins title reign. But at the same point in time, I think that we know that all roads lead to Cody, pun heavily intended, by the way.
Unintended, yeah.
And I think that that's the part of this that we need to just understand is that Cody's the next one. And you don't want to put Rollins in a situation where he's going to be a transitional champion. But I think at the same point in time, you probably have Rollins and Cody feud coming out of this, right?
Yeah.
Which just continues to cement Seth as that guy that can take a loss, and not lose any momentum. Like he was Mr. Irrelevant in 2022, if we're being honest, but he was one of the most over acts.
Well, and on top of that,
year.
he wrestled the most matches. He had the most TV time of anybody. Like once they had the year-end breakdowns out, Seth had lost the most matches, but he had also wrestled the most matches. Like it was by like 40 matches or something. Like it wasn't even close.
Thank you.
Like he wrestled like 200 matches or something. So to get him to I think if he'd have won the Rumble, which would have been, I mean, that's how you get to that point, right? That's how you take that guy who's just sort of been hanging out, Mr. Irrelevant, sort of for a year, and then once you get to the point where it's the Royal Rumble, anybody can win the Royal Rumble. Technically, it's not anybody can win it. So if Seth wins the Royal Rumble, one, that's super believable, and two, that's just how you just pluck the guy who, can take losses and it doesn't mean a damn thing. That's how you flip him back into the title picture. But I get why they wouldn't want to do Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania. It's fine. But, it is certainly something that I had hoped to see. And we had hoped to see, Seth maybe take the title or a title off of Roman. So, that's where I am with that.
So before, I don't want to get into the whole Roman thing while Derek's not here. So I guess we'll just move on to the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, which I think that overall we were kind of critical of, and I think that the internet has kind of had a little bit of fun with it the last couple of days, but like overall, I think that it was a fun little thing, right? Like it was just a no DQ match with some black light. Like, I mean, visually it was cool.
It was visually it was like Naomi, but there was no Naomi. It was Naomi's gimmick, but there was no Naomi.
So that's what you're gonna roll with there.
That's what I'm rolling with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was as far as it being a match is concerned, it was obviously a gimmick. I certainly wouldn't rank it as a good wrestling match, but I don't think it was really a wrestling match. It was more of a gimmick. The part at the end was stupid. Uncle Howdy jumped and clearly missed LA Knight. Like there was way.
By like a fucking football field.
like LA Knight was over here somewhere, and Uncle Howdy landed over here somewhere, and then confetti went pew everywhere. That was stupid. And the fact that LA Knight, who is clearly in like top tier athlete, tremendous shape, cannot outrun Bray Wyatt. That to me, because Bray Wyatt chased him down, like LA Knight couldn't get away because everybody believes that. It was fine. I feel like they should do these kind of matches on Raw though, not at WrestleMania or like. I don't feel like these are good.
Yeah, but I mean that Mountain Dew sponsorship paid the bills for the Royal Rumble, pal.
Yeah.
Like you can't be too upset with them for making a business decision and turning it into a match for our eye holes. I mean, I thought Bray looked pretty good in the ring. It looks like he's Bray Wyatt. So, and obviously we've talked about this on the way to Archie's downtown. That that we both agree that LA Knight is absolutely a fucking star.
Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to necessarily get over in this feud. I feel like he was maybe just supposed to be like Geek of the Week. But it's LA Knight, and he's gonna try to get
Really, you
himself
think
over.
Triple H looked at him that way and put him in this spot?
I don't know, man. I don't
I
know
have a hard time believing that.
But who has Bray Wyatt been able? Who has come out of a Bray Wyatt feud better ever? Maybe Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
That's the short list, probably.
yeah. I mean, I can't. I mean,
I'm just saying it's not it's not a thing that happens very often. So with a with a real bad batting average like that, you throw LA Knight out there, and then you're like, all right, well, the blow off is going to be a Mountain Dew pitch black match.
Braun Strowman.
Okay, you're right. Braun Strowman did come out better after leaving the Wyatt family.
I mean, he had that feud with Bray after he left the Wyatt family.
Yeah,
and they did the swamp match and all that. I mean, that was good shit, pal.
It was. That was kind of almost the same as how Matt Hardy got over actually did. They almost did the same thing. I think it was in reverse though. I think Matt was the heel in that situation. He was certainly the aggressor because they had it at the Hardy compound. So I don't know. It was yeah. Okay. So you're right. Anybody that has matches, almost anybody that has matches with Bray Wyatt where somebody gets thrown in a swamp or a puddle or something, that's how those guys got over. So those two guys, and then that's it. So I don't know how we were supposed to think LA Knight was going to come out of this looking like smelling like roses. I think it's fine, but I hope it's over with LA Knight. Like maybe let's move on. I'm also not into like Alexa also still kind of being possessed by Bray Wyatt. Like why is that? I mean, I guess we got to get some closure on that, but
revel in what you are.
I'm not as into it as I was before.
I mean, you weren't into it before either, pal. I mean, let's be honest.
No. So, I mean, I wish, once they had started to dial back the Alexa character a little bit and get like that out, that I was like, all right, well, we're coming out of this. And no, right back in.
I don't know. I'll be interested to see how all that pans out, with the whole Alexa Bliss thing. And clearly the Wyatt 6 is still a thing. I don't know if anybody saw the little Roman numeral 6 paint on Bray Wyatt's head. So be interested to see still continuing to pull back the layers of that onion. A friend of mine told me on Saturday during a Royal Rumble that they need to pedal a little bit faster on this Bray Wyatt bike. I mean, I kind of disagree. I'm into the slow build, but we'll see what happens with the whole Bray Wyatt thing. And I most definitely interested in seeing where LA Knight goes from here because that dude's a fucking star for sure.
I mean, he's got to go somewhere that's not this though. Like he's got a feud with like a non-spooky superstar. Literally, yeah. I mean, let him beat Corbin or something. Like, yeah, have him feud with Corbin. I feel like that always works out. Maybe with Ziggler. That'd be good. They could have some good matches there. I'd like that. Who else could he feud with? Maybe he could feud with Mustafa Ali.
No, that'd be good. I'd be into that.
Because Mustafa Ali keeps coming out. He just did it today on the web exclusive to Dolph Ziggler. Like, oh, Dolph Ziggler getting another shot out of nowhere.
Jeffrey Penis. So let's talk about the for me what was the most underwhelming match of the night, and that was Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair. Like, listen, can I just put this out there and just I understand that Bianca Belair is a talented human being, okay, and like she's gonna be great one day, but today's not that day. Like, there's just something missing with white meat babyface Bianca Belair. I need something with this character.
Remember
to
when she
make
was
me
a heel in NXT and how good that was?
Yes.
And then she comes to the main roster and was she a heel? Was she a face in NXT before she left?
Yeah,
I think she did a little bit.
But I mean, like she's been babyface since she hit the main, right? Like,
Yeah.
And let's be honest, that's Vince McMahon going, she's black. She's a woman. Ching, 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 ching. Like that's what that is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, why change why fix what's not broken with Bianca Belair? Like I think that it's just I'm not believing that.
So I don't know that I'm as bad on this as you are. I think at this point Bianca Belair needs a change, maybe a gimmick change. I think her title reign's has been long, but most of it's kind of been boring. Never really that like I never really feel like there's any stakes. At least I don't feel like there have been really any stakes going to this for her because
the women's division's in shambles right now.
and it feels like also that the only people who could potentially take it off of Bianca, I would say the only feud I thought was half decent was her feud with Bayley, and I feel like that even got cut a little bit too short. And because then they like inserted Becky into it, and Becky and Bayley are still in the middle of their feud. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a few people that could take it from her, and that I would enjoy those feuds still. But all of the people that she has feuded with thus far, including Alexa Bliss, who I generally am a big fan of, in most of the feuds that she has, have been really underwhelming and really lackluster. So. I'm hoping Rhea's talking right now, and I'm not sure who she picked. But I'm hoping. I was like trying to figure out if she had a decision yet. I think she said Charlotte. I think she's facing Charlotte, which I actually wouldn't like because I would have preferred to see her wrestle Bianca Belair and take it from her because I thought they had a good.
Seems to be the general consensus is that's the way that she's going to go.
Well, I think she just said it was going to be Charlotte. Like she just announced it on Raw live as we speak. So that's a little bit difficult, I think. So I don't know. I mean, I guess Bayley or Becky rather. I guess you let Becky take it from her, but Becky's now also a babyface again.
Right, and you've got Becky and Bayley that has to happen still, and it has to happen with the proper build and the proper story that's surrounding it. And I mean, we got some seeds of that storyline planted in the middle of the Royal Rumble match when Becky eliminated Io Sky and Dakota Kai, and then Bayley immediately eliminated Becky Lynch. So they're continuing to plant those seeds of that story. So that's going to be fantastical once that finally blows off. So I don't know, man. Just like I don't know that we did anything in the women's Royal Rumble to really move the needle on the last.
Oh no, I thought the women's Rumble was good. I'm disagree with you on that. I thought the women's Rumble went really, really well.
I didn't. You didn't let me finish though. See,
okay, go ahead.
Like I just said, like I don't think that anything really happened in the women's Royal Rumble to kind of move the needle on the stalling women's division. I didn't say that the Rumble wasn't well put together. It just didn't really do anything, I don't think, in my belief, to help the division.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I feel like they're trying to get all these women over, or they're trying to give all these women something, and it keeps only being the same ones that ever get over, right? So we got Becky, we got Bayley. They obviously did really well and got like pretty far over with what they were doing. We still had Becky dump the other Damage Control girls, and then we had Bayley dump Becky, and so they still set that up. They both did really well.
Yeah, but we knew that was coming anyway. So
we did, but at the same time, it's like so they're over, and that's going to remain over, and that'll be a feud. And now now Rhea Ripley's challenged Charlotte. That'll be great at WrestleMania. Actually, that'll be a really good because that's a callback to NXT. Because if you remember, Charlotte beat Rhea when Rhea was the NXT Women's Champion, and Charlotte took that from her. So that's the callback that she kind of made here tonight. So that'll be cool. So I don't think it's necessarily flailing. I just think that there's they're trying to get too many different women over, and it's not working.
Yeah, I mean, it's something funny there, little guy.
Yeah. I mean, I've only popped in for the last couple 30 seconds here, but it's funny to me that we do nothing but bitch and hear the bitching of Tom and Walter on the AEW women's division and how they're subpar and how they suck completely.
Well, no, these women are good wrestlers. It's
fucking horribly.
That's not the thing. These women are good wrestlers.
The WWE women's division, we're trying to make them be more relevant, but it's not allowed because they're not enough.
How exactly are they trying to make the women's division more relevant right now?
Well, I mean, obviously Rhea Ripley just went number one to number one.
So somebody that should have already been at the top of the top of the card from a women's standpoint, who is already at the top of the card from a women's standpoint, right?
Okay.
But you're falling back into this perpetual thing where the same four women are fighting one another for a championship. You go out and you bring in all of this extra talent like a Tegan Nox or an Emma, right? Lana was supposed to be there, Ronda Rousey gets pushed to the side. She's a trash bag. It's okay. Like, I get it. But you've got somebody like Shayna Baszler that's not had an opportunity, not been given an opportunity. So you go out and you get all of this talent to bolster your women's division, and you're not giving it the time that it needs to grow. Right. So like, I just don't understand how you can sit there and you can preach to me that they're giving this division, some relevancy when in fact they're doing the complete opposite, and they're not giving that division the relevancy that it needs and the attention that it deserves right now to make it into a marquee thing. If you go back 2 years ago, we did a show about the state of the women's division, and at one point in time we talked about future main events, and we talked about future things that could happen, and Tom had said something to the effect of, I don't believe that in 5 or 6 years we're going to be talking about Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I think we're going to be talking about, the women's division being the marquee piece of the WWE and what it's done. And I mean, you can't honestly look at this division from that day 2 years ago and tell me that they're one and the same, because they're not. All right. This women's division is a shell of itself. It's a shell of what it used to be. And I don't know if that's because, Triple H is more focused on righting a lot of wrongs within the men on the main roster, that he's forgotten to focus on the female portion of the thing. Maybe it has something to do with Stephanie McMahon not being there anymore, because, she was always such an advocate and a face for that division. Maybe there's something there with that. However, to sit here and tell me that they're trying to create more relevance for a division that has been all but forgotten at this point, that gets 2 segments on a 3-hour show and barely even a half a segment on a 2-hour show, I just, you're talking out of the other side of your mouth here, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
So I feel like the lack of time is actually a relatively recent thing, because they did used to get a lot of time.
Relatively recently, as in like the last 6 to 9 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks is what I mean. Yeah.
I think you really need to look at too the time that they're getting is main event time. I mean, the time that they're getting is prime.
What?
Rhea Ripley is getting main event prime time every week.
Yeah, as a part of a faction. She's not being showcased inside the ring.
Is she not being showcased within the WWE universe?
Okay, but you just want to keep going back to one woman that's made. Okay, you want to talk about one woman that we already love and respect.
What do you want us to do?
But you're talking about creating relevancy in an entire women's division with with Rhea Ripley. With Rhea Ripley, is that really what we're trying to do right now? Is we want to talk about one Rhea Ripley?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the 16-time fucking Ric Flair daughter champion? Looks like Cher from '98.
No, I don't. I want somebody to come and
Okay,
take
well, that's
that
where
from
we're
her.
at. So
Okay.
I'm excited to have a new contender coming up the ranks and obviously making a
New
fucking name
contender.
for
She's
herself over the
already.
past year.
We've already
Over
seen
a
this
year now,
match, bud.
she's been dominant as fuck and has been amazing and over. It's
Oh,
like whenever all of a
okay,
sudden Becky Lynch took over the man gimmick, and you just want to fucking sit on her face all fucking weekend and act like she's the greatest gift since God's bread. And now,
God's bread.
now,
Bud,
God's
like
bread was impressive.
you can't
Now,
even compare the
I
two.
want to.
Are we
come
talking
over
about
here
like
and
the
do
like a
some Rhea
host,
Ripley
like a
talking.
Eucharist?
And now, it's not the same.
Because it's not.
Okay. So how was it less organic?
But you've got Lacey Evans out here getting 16 gimmick changes in the last fucking 4 months.
I don't give
Okay.
a fuck about Lacey.
She's
Evans.
still
I don't even know about her.
well. So why? She's a
They
top.
saw her-
She's a top act.
Yeah, they saw her as the top act. They just can't,
You
for
wanna
whatever
sit
reason,
here and
nail
preach
it
relevancy
down.
of the women's
Flair
division to me,
having
but
his baby and all this stuff. At
all
75
you've
years
mentioned to me is Rhea Ripley. I mean, what about bringing back Tegan Knox? That was supposed to be such this big deal.
They beat Candace again tonight, actually.
Okay,
too.
yeah,
They-
you've got
they-
Candice
they keep
LeRae running
beating
around,
Candace.
who's supposed to be a big deal. I mean,
Well, you know what?
You've got the most
Candace
under.
is a better gimmick.
What about Natalia? What about Shayna Baszler?
Where's
Okay, but
Natalia
instead-
been? Is
but instead
Natalia
we
is
got-
Natty out hurt? Because we have
No,
not
yeah,
seen
Yeah,
Natty.
Shayna Baszler broke her fucking face on
That's right.
SmackDown. But listen, but then you go out and you bring back Nia Jax.
Hey, I didn't say that was a great idea.
She got a decent pop,
She
actually.
did, even though they
It
botched
was
her
the
fucking.
Simone we did not want.
Yeah, it's they couldn't get the Rock, so they got his cousin. Not who we wanted, clearly.
Too bad Mercedes Moné couldn't make an appearance.
Probably is too bad because I bet she was offered an appearance.
I'm sure.
Guaranteed she was offered an appearance.
I bet you they also said, "Could you dye that fucking horrible mop that you call hair?"
It's not. Those are wigs.
It looks
It's not her hair.
hideous.
Those
I
are
don't
wigs,
care.
pal.
The fact that you put that on your head and make it seem real.
She's
is
got like a
just-
zillion of them. She gets a new wig like every other week.
I
Her
should
hair's
look
different
into
color.
this. I will start buying wigs for myself.
You could have a different hair. Yeah, you could have different hair every
You know
week.
what you need to do? You need to go buy yourself a better fucking personality. That's what you need to do.
You know what I might buy is actually a better beard line because this is like my
Can
max.
you purchase that?
I mean,
I know that like ours
Yeah.
are pretty great. Mine's sort of at a respectable level at the moment. But
You're both-
I mean, Walt's is too.
they're very
but,
intimidating. I gotta say,
I don't feel intimidating. I
don't feel intimidating.
don't feel intimidating.
Hey, by the way, this has to go unsaid. Shout out to the guy in the NWO t-shirt at the bar on Saturday. I want you to know that I want to let you know that I let you keep your teeth. You're welcome.
It was like that.
So anyways,
like that.
So anyways, Derek,
We wanted to watch the Rumble and probably get more wings. So like, it's probably better that you let him keep his teeth because they wouldn't have let us stay otherwise.
Yeah, probably not because he was sitting with Archie too. So
Yeah.
you know,
And we would have never been welcome back.
Walt's
We
a
would
terrible
never-
guest.
We would have never got more delicious wings. And
I'm a terrible guest. Is that what you said?
Terrible guest.
no, he was a great guest because he didn't knock the guy's teeth out. Had he knocked the teeth out,
You
I
know.
think that puts him middle of the road.
Oh man.
So overall, guys, the Rumble matches were good, right? Like they were okay. I'd have liked to have seen Nick Aldis. I'd have liked to have seen Cardona. I think they did a good job with some of the surprises that we got in the women's division, mostly NXT talent, putting them out there, giving them a chance to grow. But here's the thing:
He got little spots too. Like Indy Hartwell got a little spot, and then Chelsea Green was in for like a second.
The word on the street is they're gonna let her have her little hot mess express like Karen gimmick back. And this would have played
That's
in
gonna be
perfectly
weird.
to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
You
because she
mentioned that
flipped out
earlier.
after.
but you know what? Like, Derek, you say that they're adding relevancy to the division, and you just only want to cite Rhea Ripley. I'm not disagreeing with you, bud, but
I just want to like what I want to like. Is that?
but I
wrong?
want, but I want you to see the broad spectrum of the women's division as a whole.
I want to see that the men's division is a good 50 to 60 participants. The women's division is like 20. even considering the amount of 60 participants, I still only have, say, 3 to 4 that I'm like, those are my people. These are the ones I follow. These are the ones I enjoy. It doesn't make it any different because the pool is smaller for the women's division. That doesn't mean that I only have 2 now instead of 4 to 6.
I will say I'm really super excited to see what they do with Asuka and her Kana gimmick.
I was hoping actually for like, what was that? Like kind of nice. It was a more softer facial palette, not as evil looking.
No, she's got to go evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll have to work towards that.
It looks very Doink the Clown right now.
She was happy to be back.
No, I think that her the Kana gimmick, the one that she used in Japan, looks a little more like Doink the Clown. It's because it's a clown.
I
this was more fire
to this, yeah, and it's too much
fire.
I mean, I still love Asuka. We'll see where it goes.
I'll be interested to see what happens with Asuka as well. So this brings us to the main event, the meat and potatoes. Seth Rollins, never mind, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I will say this, and we don't need to talk about the match itself. We've seen this same match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens 16 different times. Okay. It served its purpose. It filled its gap. But what it really got us to was the aftermath. The most compelling part of the pay-per-view, and that was the downfall of the bloodline as we know it.
It had to be coming. We knew it was coming. Everybody did.
Absolutely knew it was coming. I felt like, and what great tea! Like the bar was complete, like just complete and utter silence as this.
Everybody got quiet and just watched.
It's transpired in front of us. Even the waitress was like standing there next to us, just watching.
It's good that they have the respect level to know, like, this is my audience tonight. They came here for this.
Well, it was when he handed him the chair, I went, "Oh man, he's gonna hit Roman!" Smacked Roman with the chair. Everybody beat the tar out of Sammy.
Yeah.
Jay was like, "No, man, no! What are you doing? What's going on?"
That was a wild turn.
And then Jay walks off.
Jay walks off. Yeah, that was.
At that point, I really missed you guys because I was like, man, they're twins, and I'm not good at this. Walt and Tom would know exactly which twin that was.
Jay.
I understood the implication of what was going on, but I couldn't tell you for sure which twin that was. I knew in my mind this is the one that hated him for all those months, but I didn't know his name specifically.
Main event Jay Uso, buddy. It's main event Jay.
Yeah. So I missed you guys that night. I made my own wings.
The internet is trying to give it an additional. The internet's trying to give it an extra additional nuance by saying, see the look on Jay's face? Is that the look of somebody who wishes he could have done what Sammy's doing now? And I'm like, I don't think Jay has that kind of acting range, if I'm being honest. I don't think that's what's going on right now with Jay.
See, I disagree. I believe that because that's the story that they've been telling. And like this circles back to the formation of the bloodline, right? Like remember way back when Jay Uso was the first,
right?
The first victim.
He was the first victim of the Roman Reigns title reign.
Yeah. And he hated Sammy.
Yeah,
but that's later. I'm talking about early.
I understand that, but I'm talking early. He was the first one, and then
Jimmy. Yeah, well, Jimmy was hurt.
Yeah,
Jimmy was
wasn't
out
even there.
Like, yeah,
and then whenever he came back, he was kind of pissy. He didn't want to join the bloodline.
No, he did. Right? He ended up joining like real fast, and that's how they convinced Jay. Or no, he didn't want to join, and then I don't remember. There was a lot of like Roman torturing both of them.
Yeah, the Roman essentially like made Jay fall in line, and Jimmy just kind of didn't want to be there, and then finally was like, "Listen, it's for the family, you know, blah blah blah," and that's how we got to where we're at now, right? But I'm focusing specifically on the Jey Uso stuff early on, so like this has come full circle now. So. Did my question for you guys, okay, is this: did WWE book themselves into a major fucking problem? Because now you have 3 people that are perched in a lot of people's eyes that should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. You have Cody Rhodes, who obviously won the Royal Rumble, and we'll get to that. All right. You have Jey Uso, who walked out on the bloodline, full circle, all in tow. And then you have Sami Zayn, who is probably the most over act in WWE right now, who everybody's like, man, could you imagine the crowd reaction if Sami Zayn were to beat Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship? So did WWE create a nightmare scenario here?
I think they did, because this might actually play into what you were talking about a few weeks ago, because here's what happens. If they just roll with Cody, is the audience going to turn on Cody between now and WrestleMania?
Yes.
Because I mean,
Yes.
almost guaranteed, right? Like, there's almost no way the audience doesn't.
When he
turn
came
on
out
Cody.
at 30, I would urge you to go back and rewatch his entrance. When he came out at number 30, there is no way in hell that pop that he received was what they were hoping was going to happen.
Well,
Because
I'll
that
say
pop
this as
was
well.
crickets.
He actually had interviews after the official, press conference area, saying that he appreciated the amount that the crowd has put up with his marketing up to this point, because he knows it's a heavy amount of marketing and that it sucks for the fans. He specifically said this. So,
Well,
I'm
hoping
that it works out for him.
Well, I mean, I think they certainly have to do something with Roman and Sami, and honestly, they may have to throw something at Elimination Chamber.
Well, word on the street is Sami Zayn is the Elimination Chamber poster. So,
yeah, we've already seen the shares.
yes,
That's legit.
So, I mean, they got to do something with this at Elimination Chamber, even if it's Sami having a match with Roman, and then like seeing what happens. Maybe Jay turns on Sami or something.
But we can't have that. We can't have Sami win the belt and then he lose it to.
No, Sami wouldn't win the belt because Jay would turn on him.
I feel like Sami has to have it for a minute.
I don't think they're going to take the belts off Roman and put it on Sami. I don't think it'll happen. But I think what they could do is, after the match, the beatdown of Sami Zayn, have Kevin Owens run in to save him, and
Right.
maybe WrestleMania is KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the tag team titles or something. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of potential to like swerve the heat away from it going to Cody, and not just putting Cody in with inserting Cody into just, okay, Cody now is feuding with Roman. We're done with all this Sami Zayn bloodline stuff. That was the end of it. I think if they do that, I think if they end it there and do that, that is for sure going to get Cody all the heat in the world. And he'll get booed coming out, and they'll have to like have Roman beat him like uber fast. So I don't know. I feel like you're right. Did they book themselves into a corner? Yeah, but hopefully they have a plan. Because if they book themselves into this corner and they don't have a plan, I think there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I don't know what they're gonna do here, and I would agree with you that I don't think that Sami wins the championship, right? And like he's probably gonna get the opportunity to do so, but I don't know that he's going to. And the Cody like Roman thing, like what's the story that they're gonna tell there? While they've been building this bloodline story for the last 2 years, and we're at the just the climax of this entire story, and everything's starting to fall apart, and now all of a sudden Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble and gets put, and it just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, maybe they're gonna wrap it up before, like I said, or maybe maybe they've got a plan. That's the only thing I can think of is they have to have a plan. They
Sure
had to
doesn't
have,
seem like they have a plan.
they had to have done this with some kind of plan involved.
Yeah,
they couldn't
The Rock. Now they're fucked.
What was The Rock gonna win the Royal Rumble? Is that what was gonna happen?
They were gonna get to Roman and The Rock at WrestleMania somehow.
The Rock couldn't, and The Rock's not coming. It's like, I won't be able to get in shape. Like, what? 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 Have you looked at yourself today, Mr. Iron Paradise?
Right. So, Derek, I mean, what about you, bud? Like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, where do we stand on this?
What are you talking about, bud?
I don't even know why I fucking do this. Like, this is like, I don't even fucking understand why I fucking do this. Like, I don't. Like, the level of fucking frustration. Like,
He left.
He did.
You made him so mad because you were like, wait, what are we talking about? Like, you made
It's
him
not
so
even-
mad by not paying attention that he just left. He just left.
It's almost too easy at this point.
Just to not pay attention. That's
Yeah.
why.
No, I mean he made a nice background and stuff, and I can just
Anyway,
I find the nerves quickly, and then I pluck them. Yes.
So
go ahead.
what I was thinking was that what we were talking about was, what do you think? Do you think that WWE has booked themselves into a corner with Cody winning the Rumble and this Sami Zayn thing?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that we should have seen this coming, because with all the vignettes, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, with all the video packages and all the promotion coming up with Cody, and he even mentioned it in the after show press conference. It was over the top, and it was annoying, and he understands why it's annoying to the fans. We knew this was going to happen. There was really, at least to me, there was no denying this is how it was going to go, especially once he came out at number 30. We know he's winning. Same with Rhea Ripley, and I'm not going to change the subject to her long term, but I'm just saying it was built up over time that, she wants to participate in the men's Royal Rumble. She, is going to dominate the women's Royal Rumble.
I mean, I think those were just things those are only things they talked about, like the
but
week
whenever
before.
she came out first that night, did you not instantly be like, oh, well, she's probably winning?
No.
See, I did not to claim that I was, so smart. Or
Back
anything,
when she
but
came out
it
first,
just
I was like,
kinda
oh,
ruined
she's
it
not
for
going to
me.
win.
Yeah, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, it just kind of ruined it for me as far as thinking like, well, this is a very predictable show. That kind of sucks.
Give it
Overall,
the Shawn
I
Michaels rub.
enjoyed it. Yeah. And then at the end, of course, we saw, Roman and Sammy and Kevin, and we all knew how that was going to end. Of course, Sammy's going to jump in front of him and be like, no, we're done. We can't do it no more. And that was going to turn into the big catalyst that there's just so much that they threw in all at a time, and I feel like it was all very predictable. It makes me sad.
So I don't know. I don't know that I thought the Roman segment was predictable. I feel like that was no. I mean, I didn't think that Kevin was going to win, but I couldn't. The angle after the fact, I didn't know. I don't think I could have predicted that. I didn't think Sammy was going to turn. Truthfully, I thought they might turn on Sammy. But
now the only thing that I thought was crazy off the wall.
Oh,
was,
he thinks
Jimmy.
now. He thinks all of a sudden. Is
Shut
that
the fuck up,
is that what I come
Anyway,
back?
but
I come
Jimmy
back for
coming
him
out
to have
here
thought.
and-
You had to leave so that he could have them.
I mean, fucking clearly. Like,
I like your microphone cover.
That's pretty sweet. So what do we want to talk about next?
I'm done.
I refreshed him.
I'm done.
Oh, are we gonna go to bed now? That's cool. All right. Well,
We're all
thanks
still
everybody
on.
for listening. Fucking bedtime at 10. All I'm home free. Bye, guys.
Fake
Fuck
ending.
you
We're
all.
doing the fake ending.
Is that what we're doing? Reach for the sky, boy.
Reach
Hey, I'm
for
glad
the
that you brought that up.
sky.
Am I the only one that thought it was weird that like AEW live streamed his funeral?
Wait, what? I didn't know this happened.
Yeah. No, I thought that too.
That's
I was like-
fucking really creepy. Seriously?
Yeah.
No.
Like not just the mass, like they live streamed
No,
like the
I don't care if it was any of it.
cemetery and the it was
Yo, when I die, will you guys put me on the One Fall WrestleCast live stream?
No.
no.
You're not even here now. Why would I?
No.
You
We will not-
imagine the cell signal down in the holler.
Hey, but it'll just be another Monday night when that you're
I'm
not here.
pretty sure if we did that, they would arrest us for like corpse mutilation or something, or just
What the fuck are you
disrespecting
doing?
your corpse. Look,
Like,
I
fuck
don't
him specifically.
See, look, it's even a triangle.
Look at
Yeah, it
Austin Creed out here. Austin Creed.
Austin Theory.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah.
in theory.
Fuck.
I told you earlier today I have no memory.
Like,
Leave me
why is
alone.
he so dumb, Tom?
I mean, I haven't known him as long as you have.
I mean, no
He's not,
harm.
he's not
I mean, no
particularly
harm.
dumb. He's just like
Stupid.
kind of clueless, I guess. It's really it's like
So he's dumb.
the world exists like here. Derek exists somewhere over here, and neither the two shall meet.
I love everybody. I have no problem with anything, and I'm just.
I love carpet.
I love
Floats
lamp.
around the world and doesn't exactly live within it.
66% of the time, it works every time.
Crazy. 66% of the time, it's late every time.
Hey, at least AEW though got to have their Jay Briscoe tribute show and got to have Mark come wrestle, and Mark's now welcome on AEW all the time now.
That's good.
I think that's
I would
the
hope
only
so.
thing.
I really enjoyed him and Jay Lethal's match.
You know that this is the first time they did 1 million viewers in like 6-8 months or something, and everybody clearly tuned in for the Jay Briscoe.
Well, I got news for you. Nobody tuned in to Rampage on Friday.
Yeah, how
That
bad
hit
was
Jay
that?
Briscoe
rating?
hard, though.
I
It was
heard
it was like sub 400.
Or Jay Lethal, I mean.
They've been at the 430s or the 480s pretty consistently. It dropped that low. I mean, I guess, man, they just keep throwing out stinkers out there, and they don't have enough TV time to just throw away an hour of television. You know what I mean?
They have enough talent that they could fill the spot.
Sure,
they
that's what I
don't.
mean. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. It's
Like,
crazy.
they waste all
You
this
give me
time.
Pretty
and-
Peter Avalon and stupid shit.
yeah, and there's like a
Sin
squat.
Cara,
Like, okay,
You know,
like,
what?
Brian Cage is he squashes somebody every week, and then it's
Yeah.
just that never ends up being like
Yeah, for a couple more weeks until he shows up in NXT.
yeah, probably.
Why am I watching Luther versus Colt Cabana? Like, no, this does not make me want to tune in on Fridays.
No, it doesn't, and that's why they put garbage out on Friday. It's like, sometimes I watched it when I was out of town because it came on, and just like that's when we were like getting back, and I'm like, oh well, I'm not ready to go to sleep. Let's put on wrestling, because it was Friday night and we had missed SmackDown, but Rampage was just starting, and I watched it. I was like, wow, this is bad. This is not a good.
This is bad.
They laid it because it's only an hour long. They laid out the card at the beginning of the show. And I'm like, wow, these matches all suck. And then I watched all of them, and the main event was like Jade Cargill versus somebody who was going to beat, and she just beat her. That was it. I'm like, what is this? Why do you throw these garbage shows out here?
Cut the shit, Tom.
They let all the good talent go home. That's what it is, because they film it after Rampage. So like all the good talent.
That's live every Friday night.
Yeah, at 10 p.m. There'd be even less people in the arena than there are, which apparently they're having trouble with ticket sales a little bit. But there would be even less people in the arena if they filmed it live on Friday nights at 10 p.m.
Dude, Austin Theory is just out here going chop for chop with MVP, and it's amazing.
I mean, Austin Theory is really, if anybody came, I don't know that anybody came further than Austin Theory did in 2022. He showed up with kind of a silly gimmick and was like Vince McMahon's protege. And then like, now he's just like, after having to be humiliated, now he's like just getting to be the man.
Yeah, but I think that was probably good for him though in the long run too, right?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Getting beat up on a little bit, and now he's in a position to be a star.
Speaking of stars, Ricky Stocks was backstage at the Rumble to support his buddy Cody Rhodes.
Word on the street is Triple H talked to him too about coming to a real promotion to be a star.
Oh, shut the fuck up! He didn't say any words to him. You know that's illegal. The good goddamn name of Triple H would never.
Hey, he was there. He was there, pal.
I know he was there.
Just saying.
He referenced the.
I'm sure that conversation did happen.
Never.
Even just in joking in passing. Hey,
surely you don't mean Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the most honest man who has ever worked in the wrestling business.
You mean the guy that used to tell us to suck it once a week?
Terrorizing.
Good talk.
You know him. Terrorizing? That's him.
Ricky Starks.
I can imagine it backstage.
You want to be a star. April, why is Richard at the Rumble of All Royals?
Wait, why is he Yoda now?
He's always had.
I'll tell you what, if I ever make it to the WWE, my first request, I want no rickety doors. I want my doors to be fully reinforced metal at all times to my dressing room.
Oh, right, because none of these rickety plasticky doors. Well, Seth Rollins had something to say about Mr. Phil Brooks
and his rickety doors. Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they said somebody asked Seth Rollins like either before or after around the Rumble. They asked him.
It was a couple days before. It was at the 2K. It was at the 2K kickoff party.
That's right.
Nice.
And so they asked him, "Hey, do you like Phil Brooks? You want to see him back? You guys had some bangers back in the day, yada yada." And Seth immediately goes, "No, Phil is not welcome here. He sucks. He's a cancer." He called him a cancer. He said, "Stay away. He doesn't want him here. He wants nothing to do with him. He was a jerk when he was here, and obviously we know he was a jerk when he left here." And it was like the utmost burial. Whereas the PC thing would have been to say, we know you never know what's going to happen. I'll kick anybody's ass or whatever. You say the kayfabe thing. No, he went full.
There's no fucking chance, bud.
No, he went full. He's a cancer. I don't want him here.
Wow.
You stay away. Like he went full, like just not even like trying to stay in kayfabe. He was all like, "Fuck Phil Brooks." No.
I was like what Walt tried to tell me whenever we started this podcast until I kept showing up on Monday nights and you just couldn't get rid of me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
It's true. Damn true.
It's cancer. Stay away.
I
He
mean,
knows too much.
when you show up.
I'm always here. It's just usually 2 minutes late. I haven't heard the fucking theme song in 6 months.
We know.
Yeah.
we know
I
actually
like
more
that
than
everybody just goes along with it and just starts the fucking show.
you know. We actually know more than you know.
All right, gentlemen, do we have anything extra pressing that needs to be discussed?
No, this was somehow we kept the Royal Rumble show tight. I guess we were on last week too, so it's not like we had to go and we did get a full 90 minutes of blah 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 last week.
Yeah.
All right.
Thomas, what is your match of the week, please?
My match of the week, please. Actually just happened. If you were watching Raw when it got on the air, Chad Gable and Seth Rollins had about 8
Shush,
please. Had about 8 or 10 minutes. And they just went full speed wrestling match. Like it wasn't high flying or anything. It was just like wrestling move, hold, roll up, near fall. It was just they just went, and it was like these. I don't understand how these guys have cardio like this to go that fast, that like fluid and flawlessly. So it was just one of those matches that just like obviously it was an elimination chamber qualifier. Seth wins. It's obviously not a match you would generally see because why would Chad Gable fight one-on-one with Seth Rollins? But because it's an elimination chamber qualifier, it just goes together, and you're like, oh, of course,
the United States Championship.
yeah, for the United. It's like, oh, of course, that's what it is. And then in the middle of the match, you're like, oh, I've never seen this match before, and I'm glad they somehow managed to put it together here because it wouldn't have made sense otherwise. And it just was a banger. So that's my match of the week because they put on a clinic of how when you get 10 minutes, how to get every last drop out of 10 minutes. And they had a banger of a match.
That's fair. Good shit. I haven't seen it yet. I'll watch it here
Banger
later.
after banger after banger.
Eric, what about you?
So I'm gonna go with women's Royal Rumble match. To me, honestly, that was really, really impressive. And I sincerely enjoyed watching Rhea survive the entire match all the way to the end. And Mommy came out on top. So
stuff like that is always very memorable too. Like you'll forget all the rumbles that Ronda Rousey wins, or if Charlotte Flair just randomly wins a rumble, or even like the ones that just seem like they wasted the rumble for this like kind of very painfully obvious thing. But yeah, like Rhea, like somebody staying, like when Shawn Michaels stayed in from number 1 and 1. Like that's that you think about that. You don't
never.
Well, and you can't recall things like, oh, Stone Cold won 3 rumbles. Do you remember which ones? Do you remember them specifically? No. You just know he won 3.
96, 98, and 2000.
All right. Walt knows them. But
well, they're only 2 years apart, so it's kind of easy to remember.
Who did he face in the main event each year?
Fuck if I know.
Probably Triple H once. The Rock won
3 times.
All 3 times? Oh, I guess, yeah, it would have been because that would have been
also easy to remember.
Walt, what was your match of the week? Go give it to us.
My match
Walt,
of the week
go give it to
was Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal on AEW Dynamite.
That's good too.
That's good of you.
The in-ring match was fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. You can tell that those guys have been having that match with one another for many, many years, and it just looked sharp. It looked snappy. It was well timed. The significance of Mark Briscoe performing on AEW Dynamite when Warner Brothers Discovery for the better part of the last year has continued to block the Briscoes from appearing on AEW television when the Briscoes could have easily been the savior of the AEW show in a lot of folks' minds. For him to finally get the opportunity to appear on that show and honor his brother and honor the legacy of the Briscoes and, Ring of Honor and the things that they have accomplished in professional wrestling, I thought that it was worthy of being my match of the week.
That was a good one. I think that was the only other really notable singles match this week. So, yeah.
I thought it was really funny that Jay said reach for the sky all the time because that was what Woody said in Toy Story because he cried every time he watched it.
Reach for the sky, boy. But yeah, it's lots of nice, sweet things coming out about the guy who obviously everybody liked anyway, and pretty much everybody thought was cool. And it sucks, but it's nice that he's being remembered in such a positive way.
Absolutely.
And even at this point, he's still they weren't allowed on AEW television, and now they are. So that too, I think now is kind of it's going to change the way wrestling works for a little while. A little bit.
I think so. All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else pertinent to discuss, I guess we're going to go ahead and get on out of here, huh? All right. Well, hey, listen, we appreciate the recent the recent uptick in our audience. We appreciate that. If you're still here, please hit that like button. Throw us a comment. And as always, we're here Monday 8:30. I mean, Tom and I are here Monday at 8:30. Not this week though, because I had to poop. But
I'm usually more
Tom
like
and I are
8:35.
Tom and I are here every week at 8:30. Derek's here every week at 8:49. So
I eventually get here.
Listen, and here's the thing. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, if you're enjoying us right now, whenever and wherever, we appreciate you. So with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. But we got to go get some more of them wings. We got to take